Some people are calling for reductions in the fiscal 1991 defense outlays of $12 billion, $15 billion, or even $20 billion. People are going to hear a lot about the term outlays in budget authority. I can see some of the articles already saying, why do you speak in these arcane terms? Well, if you do not understand the difference between outlays and budget authority, you cannot understand the defense budget that is going to take place this year, because it is a very important difference. One of the tragedies of the Graham-Rudman-Hollings proposal that we now have is that it measures everything in outlays, and the Defense Department is run on budget authority. Budget authority represents funds that can be spent over several years, rather than how much is actually going to be spent this year, which is outlays. Outlays are what will actually be spent this year. There is a big difference. In my view, large and immediate reductions in the defense budget to achieve outlay savings of $12 billion, $15 billion, $20 billion would result in severe disruption of our military personnel programs and operations. Our military personnel today are volunteers. They are not draftees as they were when we drew down the forces after World War II, after Korea, and after Vietnam. We have to understand that. If we are not careful and if we are not sensitive in handling our men and women in uniform, then we will damage our nation's ability in the future to respond to threats that today no one foresees. The Congressional Budget Office recently testified before the Senate Budget Committee on what actions would be necessary to achieve $15 billion in outlay savings in Defense Department programs for fiscal year 1991. The Congressional Budget Office testified that to reduce outlays by $15 billion in 1991 would require reducing budget authority by $35 billion below the CBO baseline, which is roughly $26 billion more than the reduction recommended by the administration. If anyone thinks that reductions of $26 billion in budget authority and $15 billion in outlays would be easy to achieve in 1 year and would not adversely affect our nation's security, they should look at some of the things the CBO says we would have to cut. I am going to walk through a couple of those examples. The military personnel amounts or accounts under the $15 billion hypothetical outlay reduction would have to be reduced by $1.6 billion from the budget request. CBO noted that the reduction of 100,000 active duty personnel would save only $1.4 billion, and the savings would be less if Congress approved separation payments for enlisted personnel who are involuntarily thrown out of the service. This massive layoff of military personnel in 1 year would be currently disruptive under the all-volunteer force concept. It would do damage to these people who are being terminated, but it would also do damage to those who remain because they would lose a great deal of confidence in their own future. In the operation and maintenance accounts, CBO projects that $6.5 billion in budget authority would have to be cut. That is in the area we call operation and maintenance. CBO noted that these large O&M cuts would, among other things, require layoffs of civilian personnel, reduction of tempos of weapons systems, and postponement of repairs to DoD property that would adversely affect the readiness of the remaining military forces. For example, if DoD laid off 100,000 civilian employees in fiscal year 1991, the savings would be only $1.8 billion, less than 1/3 of the O&M cuts necessary to, again, achieve the $15 billion hypothetical outlay target. Mr. President, CBO's analysis indicates that the most logical way to achieve significant savings in the military personnel and O and M account is to reduce the size of our force structure. We can do that over time. But force structure reductions take time to carry out and do not achieve significant savings in the first year. That is what people need to understand.
That was good.
135.
Okay, so I'm just all these really quickly. Shouldn't take too long.
Do you have to leave? Do you have to leave?
No, I just wanted to get this done
Oh,
because I
okay.
wanted to send it out to the
Oh,
agency.
Yeah.
So
But you have to make the corrections.
that's what I'm doing now.
Oh,
So.
okay.
So this should be. Sorry, you took out the so. And the same is comma, thereby waived semicolon. I know
Let's see.
it's kind of
That filing and certification of the original list examination shall be,
comma.
comma, and the same hereby is, comma, waived, hereby waived. In other words, shall be,
So take out the semicolon.
what's it called?
Hereby waived, and then is hold on. Same and the same is. Then there's a semicolon.
Oh. And then it comes,
Keep
no,
keep that?
you can keep that.
Okay.